Good morning and welcome again. Welcome to another session of Cloud Computing with TDME with focus on AWS. So on today's presentation, we'll be talking about accessing our AWS Management Console using the CLI. If you can remember in the previous video, I told you that there are basically three ways in which you can actually access your AWS platform or your AWS resources. First is the graphic user interface through the management console, which we did that by officially creating a root account. From there, we had to study what IAM is. We created some IAM user groups and IAM user, and we had to use an IAM user to access our management console or to access our AWS resources through the management console. So today we'll be talking about using the programmatic interface, which is the second option called the CLI for those using Windows and the terminal for those using the Linux and Mac. So today we are going to do that. So moving straight into the point, first, I am still using my AWS root account, but it is advisable not to be using your root account for day-to-day activities, especially if you are a newbie and you're not used to all the stuff when it comes to the AWS management console. So I have logged into my AWS account. As you can see, first thing I need to navigate, okay, navigate to the IAM dashboard, to clarify some stuff. And in order to navigate, you can go on the search bar and type IAM. Basically type IAM here, and that is IAM. We are going to click on IAM. If you don't want to search, you can come here to the menu square icon, and you simply go under security and compliance, and you can get IAM from there. Okay, you come down here under security and compliance, then you can get IAM from here. So this is our AWS management IAM dashboard. IAM, which stands for Identity and Access Management. It is the most popular or the most used identity service when it comes to the AWS platform. So if you can remember, we created a user. First, we created a group, okay, admin group. We had to assign to this group some administrative privileges by giving to it administrator access. Then we created a user. The name of the user is admin TDME that will inherit the permission attached to the user group. So, and we went further by doing what? By creating a console access for this user, which we have seen how we can use it. We also had to enable multi-factor authentication. We created access key. Okay, we created an access key and we downloaded it. So today I'm going to show you on how to use this access key to access your AWS console or to access your AWS platform, so that you can also know how to use that step. Because when you get to a certain stage, or as a professional, you should be comfortable using the CLI. You should be comfortable using the programmatic interfaces. So first thing, if you were not there or if you have not watched my previous video, you need to go back and create a user group, create an IAM user, okay, attach administrator access to that user group. Then you access the user, you attach or you create an MFA and assign to it. Then you create an access key and make sure you download the credential. So before we move on, I'm going to go back and open the access key files that I downloaded. That is it, access key. And while it is opening, I'll go back to my browser. Next on our list, we need to download what is known as the AWS CLI version 2. Okay, we need to download AWS CLI version 2, which I'm going to go in my browser and type download AWS CLI version 2. I'm going to attach the direct link just under this video, so that you can click and it takes you straight to the page for you to download. So I'm going to click on the first option, then I'll basically close this. We scroll down. So based on the computer you're using or based on the operating system, for those using Linux, you can read directly under Linux to know what to do. For those using Mac, our focus today is for those using Windows. So I'm going to click Windows. Then I'm just going to click on this arrow. It will open another tab, and that is it. It's going to ask me to download, or okay, you just click save or you save as. So it's a file of 43 MB. So that is the first thing you need to do. Now, while it is downloading, go to my computer on your PC. So I'm going to go to this PC. Now, based on the number of drives you have, you can decide, okay? You can decide to use your drive F or drive C, but if you're a newbie, I always advise you to use your drive C. So what you need to do is access your drive C. Okay, you need to access your drive C, or whatever drive you want to use. You can use drive F. Okay, it all depends on you. You can use drive F, so you make your choice. So let's confirm if our file has been downloaded. So let me go back here. Okay, allocate. So this is my file. You see I had it already because I have installed it already. So this is my file. So I'm just going to delete one because I have it already. So this is basically your AWS CLI. This is basically your AWS CLI. Okay, so this is basically your AWS CLI. So what you need to do now is just to double click on it. I have it already, so I'm just going to walk you through. So a double click is going to prompt you to the installation page. You need to give it some time. As I said, before actually getting to this stage, you need to decide on which drive you want to install your AWS CLI. By default, Windows is going to install all applications on the drive C. Okay, but you can decide to either change that, or you understand it is not compulsory, but by default Windows will always choose drive C. So it's going to do some initialization at the back end and all the rest. Then you click next. So you need to accept terms and condition. You can read if you want. I've read that already. You click next. Then this is the only thing we want to install, which is the AWS command line interface version 2. Remember version 2. Now location, you see this is the default location. C program file, you can browse to change if you want. So you click next. Then everything it's ready. All you need to do is you click install. Okay, so I'm not going to install it because I have it already, but if it's your first time, just hit the install button and it's going to install like a normal application, and when it's done, that is it. So I'm just going to close this. Okay, so after your installation, what you need to do next is to open command prompt. So I love opening command prompt with admin mode, so I'm going to run command prompt admin mode because it's my PC. Okay, so I always recommend that after the installation of your CLI, you should, if possible, restart your PC. Okay, restart your PC because sometimes you might not restart your PC based on one or two things and the command line interface will not respond. Okay, but since I already have it, after the installation, open command prompt as admin. Then when you come here, all you need to do is to type AWS. Okay, you need to type AWS space and you type version. Okay, AWS space 2 hyphen, then you type version. So you see that is it. It returns AWS CLI version 2.17.5. It came with Python version 3.11.8 and other rest. So it all depends on you. You might do yours and it's version 2.18. It all depends. Okay, and whenever you want to upgrade this particular application, you just need to go back and download the latest version C from this URL. Okay, and you repeat the same step. You can as well use your terminal or PowerShell to install by following these steps. Perfect. So we are done with the installation of our AWS CLI. The next on our list, we now need to access our AWS platform using access key. So I'm going to open the Excel sheet. This is my Excel sheet. Okay, this is my access key ID, and this is my secret access key. Now, never you make your access key ID and secret access key public like that. Okay, I'm doing that because immediately after this video, I'm going to deactivate and delete this particular access key. Take note, never you make it public or share it publicly like this. So when you go to your terminal, this is the first thing. You first of all verify. The next thing now you need to do is you need to enter the configure mode. Okay, you need to enter the configure mode. Okay, configure mode by typing the command AWS configure. Perfect. Now, since I'm a returning user, it has prompted me with the four last, you know, the four last word, the four last letters of my previously used access key ID. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I'm going to copy the new one I want to use because I want to use this one. I'm going to paste on Windows CLI. To paste, you just right click. Okay, now it has prompted me again with the previously used access keys. Okay, secret access key, which does not what I need. I'm going to go back to my Excel sheet. I'll copy the secret access key. I'll just come and right click where the cursor is ticking. Next is going to prompt you with the default region. So this is the default region that I'm using. US is 1. If you don't want to use this particular region, or if it doesn't prompt you with anything yet, you simply type US is 1 or US is 2. It all depends on you. But I want to use the default, so I'm going to hit enter. Now the default output format is JSON. If JSON is not written here, just simply type JSON. Okay, but the default output format is JSON, so I'm just going to hit enter, and that is it. Now, in order to confirm that I have successfully logged in to my AWS platform using programmatic interface, in our case, the Windows CLI, I'm just going to type any command. For example, since, if you can remember, since we have attached, okay, if you go back to this user, you will notice the user has inherited a permission from the user group called the administrator access. Okay, let's just wait. Yes, that is it. It has inherited this permission from the user group called administrator access, which simply means I can do basically everything. I would say 90%, because there are some things you cannot still do if you're not the root user. Okay, so but there are some basic things I can do. I can list the number of IAM users I have, I can view the number of compute services I have in the cloud, and so many things. So for now, since we have done only IAM, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the CLI to list me the number of AWS IAM users we have. So I'll simply type AWS IAM. Okay. So I'll simply type AWS IAM space list hyphen users. So don't bother about this command. Okay. I'm going to, do a video where I'll explain the basics of the AWS command, and I'm also going to share a document where you can go there and have a summary of the commands and the basic ones that you need to know. And if you don't want to wait for that time, you can as well make use of ChatGPT or any AI or any browser to basically understand and download. So AWS command always starts with the word AWS to make the terminal know that okay, it is an AWS command, then followed by the service. Okay, so we are dealing with IAM, so that's why you see IAM here. We're dealing with S3, you see S3 here. We're dealing with the compute service, you see the name of the compute service here. Then I follow now by what do you want to do. So it's an AWS command. I want to do something on the IAM dashboard. I want to list users, and I hit enter. So it's going to list me the users I have. As you can see, I have just one user. That is a user, and this is the user we are using. If we had 10 users, you're going to see all the users here. That is simply because IAM is a global service, so you're going to see all. So if I do AWS, for example, S3 LS, now I don't have any S3 bucket, so it will return nothing because we have not created S3 buckets. We have not done S3 yet. Okay, and so on. So with this, you can list users, you can list resources that you have deployed in the cloud, you can create resources, you can delete resources from here, same as you are doing on your AWS management console using the GUI. So that's basically how you can set up AWS CLI. Okay, you connect to your AWS platform using your secret access keys and ID. Then you start, you start the management of resources and operation and so many things. Okay, so before we end this video, don't forget, if you have made your access key publicly accessible or exposed as I did, always come back to your IAM dashboard under users secret credentials. You go to action, deactivate, or you delete. I'm going to do that immediately after this because this video will be made publicly over YouTube and made publicly to my audience, to my students, and it is dangerous. So that is what I have for you today. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.